The Boston Celtics have been in a league of their own to start this regular season. Now, yes, there's been a team like the Denver Nuggets who have been extremely good, but they're even dealing with injury and Jamal Murray, and they probably haven't been playing at the dominant level that the Boston Celtics have for the past few weeks now since the NBA season has started. And I just think overall Boston has looked very, very impressive. Now, I'm not saying they're better than Denver, that they will beat Denver in the playoffs. I just think the Boston Celtics right now are playing at a different level than anyone in the NBA, and I'm getting into a few reasons why I think they are able to play at this high of a level. My first reason being the fact that they have one of the most complete rosters in the entire NBA. Now, it's been this way for a long time, but literally every year they're always improving their roster, and that is no different going into this season, as they have exactly what any team would love to have. They have their superstar level player at the MVP level in Jason Tatum. He's debatably the best American-born NBA player in the NBA today. Now, yes, Steph Curry, LeBron, and Kevin Durant probably have things to say about that, and I'm not going to argue whether he's the fourth, third, second, or first best out of those guys, but he is definitely in the top 5, top 4 of American basketball players in today's NBA. He's an MVP-level player even if he doesn't win it, and he's just overall one of the best players in the NBA, and any team trying to win a finals needs that one guy, that superstar-level player on their roster that's just better and can be the best player on the court any given night, and that is exactly what the Boston Celtics have in Jason Tatum. And then the next thing that makes them so complete is the fact that they have star level second and third options. Now, even most contending level teams only have one other star level option. They have like one guy, like the Milwaukee Bucks, they have Chris Middleton right now. Well, they also have Damian Lillard, but like most teams, okay? The ideal situation though is exactly what the Boston Celtics have on their hands right now. And that is having a star level second and third option, which is very rare, as Jaylen Brown is literally one of the best shooting guards in the league. Now, he's not the best. I think there's a few better ones than him, but he is definitely in the conversation, and Jaylen Brown is a guy who easily averages 20 plus points per game, is one of the better scorers in the entire NBA. He plays very good defense, and he can even rebound very solidly for his position due to his size, and he's just one of the better second options the league has to offer. And then you have Kristaps Porzingis, who is probably the best third option in the entire NBA. He is literally a guy that's going to give you 19 points per game, 7 rebounds per game on extremely efficient shooting as well. He's shooting 38% from 3 this season and 55% from the field. And then on top of that, since he's 7'1", he can block shots almost everywhere on the court, and is also just a very solid defensive level player as well. So even him being a third option has a multiple things he can do offensively and defensively. And for him to be your third option is extremely impressive, because he is probably your second or first option on a lot of other teams throughout the entire NBA. And then after you get past your star level guys, most teams would like to have that dog, kind of the energy guy on their team, and that is what they have in Jrue Holiday. Now, Jrue Holiday is still arguably a star level player, and as a Pelicans fan, when he was on the Pelicans, he was my favorite player in the entire NBA, and he is still one of my favorite players in the entire NBA. And Jrue Holiday is just a guy who's going to go out there, play at 100% no matter what game he's in. He's going to be able to lock down the other team's best perimeter player. He's going to be able to play amazing defense and give you around 15 to 20 points per game on fairly efficient shooting, while, like I said, being one of the best defenders in the NBA. And that is their fourth option. A guy that he legitimately can get you 20 any night, but he's going to probably give you 15 with being the fourth option. With him being your fourth option, I legitimately think there is hands down no argument. He is the best fourth option in the entire NBA on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. And then even the last guy in their starting lineup is Derek White, and he provides that reliable sniper three-point floor spacer guy, and that is exactly what Derek White can do. Derek White, I've sound like a broken record at this point, is probably the best fifth option in the entire NBA, and it's probably not all that close, because Derek White legitimately can score whenever he wants to, but his three-point shooting is insane. He is averaging 42% from the three-point line. Now, yes, he's a great shooter, but a lot of that comes from the fact that nobody is guarding Derek White when the starting five is out there, because you have to double Tatum half the time. You can't leave Brown. You can't leave Porzingis. Jrue Holiday will kill you if you leave him open. So the only guy you really can kind of forget about is Derek White. But even Derek White is such a good enough player, he can even beat you if you just forget about him. And that is kind of what happens. They just have too many good basketball players on this team, at least in the starting five, to possibly guard at one time. And it is a defensive matchup nightmare. And then on top of that, they are also a very solid two-way team, so it makes them extremely hard to compete with. And then, just to round out this very complete roster, they have an amazing bench as well. Now, the only really soft spot in this team is if anyone gets injured, they already only run an 8-man rotation. If someone gets injured, their bench depth is going to get very thin pretty quickly. But if they can stay fairly healthy, especially by the time it comes to playoff time, their bench is one of the best in the NBA. As Al Horford, although nowhere near the Al Horford he used to be, he is still a great 6-man backup level center who could probably start on a lot of other teams, honestly. And he's still a good floor spacing big, and he can also rebound the ball, and he's just still a very solid player and just a very good veteran leader to have off your bench. Sam Hauser is probably becoming one of the more underrated guys off of anyone's bench. He's an absolute sniper, averaging 45% from the three-point line this year, and even his field goal percentage isn't bad at 48% from the field, and he's averaging about 9 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and like I said, that is off their bench, which is extremely impressive, and I think, honestly, he's pretty underrated. Not a lot of people know about him, but he is one of the better bench players in the entire NBA. And then you have Peyton Pritchard to round off your bench. Now, Pritchard isn't anything special, but he's going to come in, he's going to play hard, he's going to try to play his role, and he's going to do his job, and then that being your 8th man off your bench is definitely not a terrible option. And then I think one of the biggest strengths for any team is being good on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. And that sounds fairly obvious, but there's a lot of teams that are very good on offense, but not very good on defense, and a lot of teams that are very good on defense and not very good on offense. It is very hard to find that middle ground where both sides of the ball can play at an elite level. But that is exactly, and I mean exactly, what the Boston Celtics currently have, as they are top 5 in both offensive and defensive efficiency, and they are the only team in the NBA to be in the top 5 of both right now, at least when I made this kind of video and put down the point. They were the only team currently in the top 5 in both efficiencies. Like I said, the only real weakness of this team is injury. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna get injured, but if they do get injured, it can get a little skeptical, because then their depth and their very good bench kind of gets smaller and smaller, and it gets weaker and weaker as you add kind of the more reserve guys to the lineup due to needing to fill minutes. And then if your Jason Tatum gets hurt, you no longer have your superstar, and things can snowball pretty quickly. But I do think that they can survive little periods of injuries. Like if, say, Tatum goes down for about 10 games, I think they're fine. They have 4 other star level players on this roster. They can they have 3 other star level players on this roster. They can figure it the hell out for 10 games. If one of the other ones go down, same thing, they can figure it out. But if they get a guy that, like, say Kristaps or Drew goes down with like a 5-month injury, or he's out for the playoffs, I don't think they're any longer. I still think they're a contender, but I don't think they're favorites. I think the Nuggets are then favorites again. But if they're fully healthy going into the playoffs, I think that they are the favorites to win the finals. And I think the only way this team doesn't work is if injuries start to greatly, and I mean greatly, impact this team, because they can match up with anyone on either side of the ball, and I think they're matchup nightmares on the offensive side of the ball as well. I just think overall, this team is built to win right now, and they are by far the favorites if they can stay healthy, and that is their only weakness. But unfortunately, guys, that's going to be for this video. So comment below, do you agree with me? Do you think that the Boston Celtics are the finals favorites? Who do you think are the final favorites? On your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like me, point the like button and subscribe button, in the absolute word to me. And I hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need a blessed day. All glory to God. See you next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.